Check the link and see this. See what the rest is going
to. Yeah, man. I made it. Nice corner, yo. I wish I'd have kept the one I bought. I've never seen a projector that small, yo. It's dope though. Look what you get out of that.
Yeah. See how small it is? I put it right in the bag.
Yeah, you put that right in the bag and said them big projectors, you go carry the box with it.
Got 1 more minute. Let me just put a little bit of this quick. I don't want to rush through this thing. You can talk to the family if you want to watch them.
Y'all know what it is, man. Black African Power, Outlaw RBG, Team Osiris, Amara Squad. We here, man. About to go in, man. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you for everybody taking time out of your busy schedule to learn about some West African spirituality, man. Can't let y'all see that yet. Don't even look. It's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. My brother Divine Prospect got the studio in here, man. If you a scholar, you got some information, you can holler at my man, come through here and do a presentation. We building something big here in Atlanta. Black News 404 Studios, man, building it from the ground up here. Want to be a part of something that's epic? Gotta holler at my man Divine Prospect, man.
So I'm gonna make sure you can see yourself when we're doing it, so you can stay within the range.
Cool. Cool. All my friends better be watching, man. I'll be mad.
Right. All right, y'all. We in the building right now. Black News 404 Studios. I'm your host, Divine Prospect. We got a soldier up in here. You see that red, black, and green on his neck? It's not a game, family. You feel what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Brother Blak Pantha. Team Osiris.
Team Osiris. Yes,
now,
like
before
that.
you go in, brother, please let the audience know. They want to know, are you a true initiate, or are you just some dude that picked up some information and you trying to teach us about West African spirituality? Tell the people real quick and then go into your presentation, brother.
First of all, my indigenous spiritual system would be this, Fatrug, which I'm going to get into tonight. My Ifa Babalaw's name is Adeo Ologun Dudu. He is located in Decatur. You can look him up. Araba Ifa Temple. That is my Babalawo. And which camera is? Can they see this? It's too dark. You can't even see my tattoo.
Oh, we're gonna show them.
Yeah, we're gonna show it. But I do have the VEVE of Ogun on me. That is my Ori Orisha. He is my divine spirit. He is the one that guides me in my everyday life. So let's get that on out the way. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Let's go. All right, West African spirituality. I look into Ifa, Loa, and Fatrug. Ifa being indigenous spiritual system of the people of Nigeria, the Yoruba people. Lao being what is classified as Haitian Voodoo. We're gonna get into that. And Fatrug, the spiritual system of the Gambia Senegal people, or the Senegambia people, as it's called in West Africa. But I want to highlight my man right here. Look at the reference and he's just doing his thing. Look at all his tools down here. I mean, they want you to think this is evil, family. That's what they want you to do. They want you to think this is evil. They want you to think that this is wicked. They want you to think that this is uncivilized. But I got news for you. Out of this comes everything else that you see. Everything else that you see. Like my Baba James Smalls said on Hidden Colors 2, any religion can be traced back to the origins of Voodoo. Anyone. Let's go. Oh, it was working when nobody was watching. Now, okay, here we go. Traditions of Ifa. Ifa or Ifa. The other, this is I want to address this first. This Ife, you will see this spelled like this as well, but that's actually pronounced Ifa as well. It's not a religion, but a spiritual system of divination in Nigeria of the Yoruba people, and refers to verses of the Odu Ifa. The Odu Ifa is not a book. It's not a book. There's no book in the Yoruba spiritual system called Ifa. No books. There have been books written about Ifa, but there is no original book like a volume of sacred law, i.e. the Bible, the Torah, the Tanakh, the Quran, books like these, the Septuagint. No books like these. They are not tied down to any books. Therefore, it is not a religion. Now, what it is a collection of oral traditions that have been passed down orally through the Babalaos. The Odu Ifa, I'm going to get into this. This is very important. This is the tray. Well, there's a part of the tray, but the oral traditions are called the Odu Ifa. Now, the Babalaos, these are your priests. These are the people that can perform rituals, readings, initiations, things of that nature. Now, when combined, there are a total of 256 Odus. These are believed to reference all situations, circumstances, and actions and consequences in life and base the unaccountable relative to the 256 Odus coding. These are forms of the basic traditional Yoruba spiritual knowledge, and they are the foundation of the Yoruba divination system. Let's talk about this for a second. When you're a Babalawo, this is high priesthood right here. Everybody talks about the Kari here, priest of Kemet, but these priests right here, they got to memorize 256 Odus. And they just told you all situations, all circumstances, all actions, all consequences. So these are the categories that they place you in life. If you got something going on that's a problem, you come to a Babalawo, he gives you a reading, it's going to fit in one of these 256 Odus. But he has to know it off the top of his head. And he's stroking on his Opan Ifa to let you know which category this is in. And I'm going to get into that a little later. The divination is obtained through the priest of the spiritual system called the Babalaos. These men are the keeper of science and the ones who are allowed to make the other priests and readings. As I just said earlier, these are the Kari priest of Kemet. I mean, whatever you want to call it, the priesthood in your particular system, these are the equivalent right here, the Babalaos. Let's go. I don't like it. This way. This way? Oh, my bad. Go back. All right. This is what I was talking about. The Odu Ifa and the Babalawo. He's doing this thing right here. As you see, there's no cheat sheets, no books, no anything. He's just doing his thing. He's in tune with the divine and getting the reading. And I don't know if y'all can see these strokes he's making, but these strokes are very important. We're going to get into that. There we go. The Opan Ifa. Now, oh, what'd you get? Okay. Oh, if I click it in the middle, it does that. Yeah. Okay, now I know. The Opan Ifa, the Babalawo throws 16 palm or coconuts on the flat wooden surface and determines which of the 8 of the possible 256 sets of Odus are displayed. The signs have correlating verses which must be chanted and chosen according to the client's particular situation. Now, I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I came into Ifa wanting to reconnect back to my homeland. So I went to my Babalawo. He had his Opan Ifa, which is the tray, the wooden tray that they're talking about, the flat wooden surface. Now, he gave me the coconuts, told me to pray to the all in all, Oludumare. He did have 16 palms, but he did, he used the coconuts. He didn't use the palm. So he told me to pray so they could reveal my Ori, my head Orisha. And I, you know, how we all taught to pray, put him to my chest, I prayed, and then he went to work. Now, at the head, and they're talking about the Opan Ifa, the tray here. At the head is generally carved is a representation of Ishu. Ishu is the trickster of the Ifa community, but he's also the messenger of the Ifa community. So if a message is coming from Oludumare, it's going to come through Ishu. Like I say here, the messenger of Ifa and the other spirits. Certain trays may have additional representations of Ishu, and trays with 2, 4, 8, and even 16 faces have been seen. My traditional tray had 4 faces, but we're going to show you a picture later. In cases such as this, the head of the tray may be marked by the crowries. The crowries are the shells. We're going to show you their reverence and their purpose later. And they are also used to spread the sacred divining powder. We are going to get this together. Okay. Now this is what I was talking about. You see the faces. These are the different faces of the different spirits. But you see these strokes. Now I know you can't see the names, but the strokes represent a different situation, a different occurrence, sometimes a different spirit. So when you come in with a problem, he's marking these strokes. 1 stroke, yes. 2 strokes, no. He's asking Orunmila. Orunmila is the deity of divine knowledge. He's asking him questions, and he's getting yes or no answers. This is similar to the binary code in your computer. Your binary code in your computer, yes or no questions. That's how your computer functions with any stroke that you put on it. Yes or no questions. So this is the same principle right here. Now this is a bigger picture. You see the face better right here. This is Ishu. Sometimes they have different names. Like this is the Ipori, or the soul, or double super soul. This is an Ori. An Ori can be the head Orisha, but it's also Orisha in itself. The Ori, the inner head, seat of the unconscious mind. The Imi, the soul. You have the other Ori down here, the head, the seat of the conscious mind. And the Ara, the body. Now, we're going to show the Opan Ifa in different African civilizations. This is the Congo cosmology right now. First off, shouts out to Asar Imhotep, because yes, this might look familiar to some of you. Now, look at this right here. Now, I'm going to go back. Look at that. You see the quadrant? Same quadrant. It's just tilted. And look at, they got Nganga, the master, the knower. And look, the line goes right here. So Nganga is right here. So they both have a divine spirit at the head of their tray. You got Vunda, and that's a different stage. You got Veka, another stage. So just like in this one, where they got body and soul over here, different stages of the spirits are around the tray and the conduit, just like on this right here. And this is the Congo. This is the Dagara. They eventually turn into the Dogon people. So again, the circle. Now, in the other one, you saw divine spirits. They have divine elements, which if we study the Kemet spiritual system, divine spirits represent divine laws in nature. So this is water at the top, water in every creation story in Kemet. You talk about the primordial waters. They're coming out of the primordial waters. So the primordial waters here is serving as that divine spirit. Now you got nature here. Nature being all powerful. We know how our ancestors studied nature and made these divine cosmological stories off nature. Down here is fire, another divine force. Mineral. We need minerals to be in our body. And in the middle is earth. This is the Dogons. Again, the quadrant. Again, the divine forces of nature. Water, wind, fire, earth. Again, Amma is in the middle this time. And he is the all in all. But then you got Bumo, Toi, Yala, Tonu. So again, the divine forces and the divine spirits of the cosmological system are on this quadrant wheel that is just like the Opan Ifa that's in the Ifa spiritual system. One more for you. In the Bantu, again, this quadrant here, even you see it on the side, kind of resembles an Ankh on this one. And again, the Nganga, Ankh, Nikwa, Akan, all of these at the same principles. All of these have divine spirits around their trays, their quadrants, and they all represent divine spirits that will lead you in a certain way depending on your problem. And they all have priests that make these things happen. Okay, now we're going to the Opele, signs and symbols. These are the coconuts. If you're going through a reading, he's going to ask you to hold these coconuts and pray to the all in all. He's also going to give you these coconuts at a certain time with another tool, tell you to separate them. This is one of your tests. So we got it on the Opon Ifa tray. You see Ishu right here, and these are the coconuts. This Babalawo is about to go to work. Oh. Now, Babalawo's use either the divining chain, unknown as Opele, or the sacred palm of the kola nuts. Babalawo's use the Opele in order to communicate with the spirits who are able to identify the causes and solutions of personal and collective problems to restore harmony with the spirits. So they're going to use these tools to restore harmony, not only in your life, but with the divine spirits, because the last thing they want to do is anger the spirits. So they're going to use these to restore harmony amongst the divine spirits. This is called the Iroke Ifa. This is the divination tool that he uses to make those strokes that I showed you, the 1 for yes, 2 for no. He uses this right here. This is with the sacred powder. He just strokes 1, no, oh, different categories. He's going to keep going. And this is more information. The Iroke Ifa. It's a tap. Sometimes they call it a tapper tool, because he's going to tap it on the Opon Ifa. And it's an object that forms a part of the divination and symbol. A tapper is an essential tool in the Yoruba divination. It is struck against the diviner's tray to call Orunmila. Now, this is the deity of divine knowledge, Orunmila. He's kind of like Tahuti in Kemet. And I went over that. If you want to check it out, it's on the Team Osiris page when I did Orishas versus Netcherus, the comparison. But this right here would be equivalent to Tahuti in Kemet. While divination is in process, the Babalawo taps the divination tray, or the Opon Ifa, with the pointed end of the Iroke Ifa to greet and invoke Orunmila. Now, this is a good book to pick up right here. William Boscombe, 16 Crowries, Yoruba Divination from Africa to the New World. Now, you know I was going to bring a source, or Unc would kill me. So I got to bring sources. So this is a good book. But these are the Crowry shells. We're going to go over those. The Crowry shells, West African derived forms, most commonly use 16 Crowry shells and prepared a table or on a mat, interpreting the patterns of the result, which are known as the Odu. Before casting the shells, the priest or priestess invokes and salutes the Orishas and puts question to them. The Orishas answer the questions by influencing the way the shells fall on the table. The number 16 holds important significance in the Yoruba mythology, as it was the purported number of the original divinities that established life on earth. So what he's saying is the original Orishas, there were 16 of them. And that's why it's 16 Crowry shells, and that number holds reverence in the spiritual system. And I always have trouble saying this word, in the Mer-Enden Logun divination, the shells are thrown on a number of shells that fall in the opening facing up and is associated with a certain Odu. This system of divination is used when consulting Orishas. While there are many variants, sometimes they use from 8 to 21 Crowry shells, depending on the variation of the Ifa. West African derived forms most commonly use 16 Crowry shells on a prepared table or mat. And that's basically what the same thing I was saying up there. So more commonly there's 16, but they can be up to 21. Now this is spirituality behind the ritual. The marking of the old news, like I said, is like the binary code in your computer. The process symbolizes the idea that every item in the physical world has at bottom an immaterial source, and an explanation that which we call reality arises in the last analysis from the posing of yes or no questions and the registering of the equipment invoked responses. In short, that all things physical are information theoretic in origin, and that this is a participatory universe. So basically, the universe is interacting with you, you interacting with the universe, you getting the answers to your questions through the universe, which the divine spirits are a part of, which we are a part of, which everybody is a part of. So it's a universal system. There is no, and you'll see this comment in Orisha stories, they'll always say the world doesn't move without Ishu. The world doesn't move without Oshun. The world doesn't move without Ogun, because they're all tied together. They're part of the universe. No universe, we're not here. You can't get no questions answered with no universe. Now, these are the 16 laws of Ifa. This inscription, Ini da ile aba ile lo, meaning those who break the trust shall suffer. Now, I know what y'all thinking, man, they got commandments too? Well, something like that, you know, something like commandments, something like your 42 laws. I'm just going to read a few of them. The first one says, and they're talking about the 16 elders, they walked to Ile Ifa, which is a Yoruba holy city, in order to request long life. We will live as long as Oludumare, their all in all, was their question to Ifa. They, talking about the Babalaos now, warned, do not call Ishuru, which is a type of yam, Ishuru, which means do not say what you do not know. So they're talking about elders walking into the holy city, requesting long life from Oludumare. And basically the judgment was they will live as long as you don't question Oludumare. And please do not speak on things that you don't know. That's a divine rule in their culture right there. So basically, I wouldn't be up here if I didn't speak on something that I didn't know and I wasn't a part of. Let's see, what's another good one? Number 7. They go through all? Okay, all right, we're gonna go through all of them. They warned the elders, do not call Ishuru the sacred stories. Ishuru, which means do not do rites which you do not have basic knowledge. Now I know y'all saying, but he said Ishuru up here meant something different. Ishuru has multiple meanings. So right here it's saying, do not do the rites of which you do not have the basic knowledge. It's the same principle as up here, but it's a little different. So this is talking about people, and you will find these people today. People that say they practice voodoo. People say that they practice these spiritual systems, but they haven't been initiated. They don't have a Babalao. They don't have any elders. So this is basically a warning, because if you invoke spirits and you don't know how to handle them, you don't know how to, you're not skilled in the animal sacrifice portion, you're not skilled in these things, you can really do harm to your family and to yourself. Because if you ask anybody in the Ifa system, they will tell you this system works. But if you anger the spirits, you got to be ready to suffer the consequences. It's just that simple. They warned them that Odi, and that's the Parakit, should not be called Odi. And this is another sacred name, which means you must never mislead your people. Do not send a person on a false road. So this is another warning. Don't be faking the funk and mislead your people, because when you lead them down into that false road, remember, those who break the trust shall suffer. So another warning. Number 4, they warned them not to say that the leaves of the Siba are leaves of the Oriro, which means never deceive the people. These are 2 sacred trees in their spiritual system. So they're using them as an analogy to say, don't deceive people. So let's recap right quick. It says, do not say what you do not know. Do not do the rites in which you do not have basic knowledge. Do not send a person on a false road. Do not deceive people. Don't lie. It's basically what it is in the end. And they have 4 of them. The first 4 are talking about honesty and integrity. So that shows you how much honesty and integrity are in the system of Ifa. They warn them, do not try to swim when they do not know how to swim, which means do not pretend to be wise when you are not. Another integrity thing. This spiritual system is all about integrity. They warn them to be humble and never egocentric. So this one is when we start breaking into a different category. Be humble. Never think that you know too much, because you will never know everything about Ifa. Never. In some Ifa traditions, they say there's over 400 orishas. Some say 800 orishas. So you're never going to know everything about Ifa. Somebody, some Babalawo, somewhere is going to show you something that you've never seen, particularly if you've never been to Nigeria. I haven't been to Nigeria yet. So particularly if you've never been to Nigeria and Yoruba land, you're definitely going to see things that you haven't experienced. They warn them, do not enter the house of Akala, and that's a chief in Ifa. Do not enter the house of Akala with bad intentions, which means not to be false. Now, this is a two-part one to me, because this is basically saying, if you're a chief of Ifa, don't come to him with ill intentions. But it's also saying, don't be false. So when you enter somebody's house, be genuine. Don't come in the house like you're all good and you had intentions to do them harm. They warn them, do not use the feathers of code, the sacred parrot's feathers, to clean their bottoms, which means do not break taboo prohibitions. So this is a sacred animal in their tribe, the sacred parrot. So it's saying, don't use the feathers parrot to clean their bottoms. So it's a metaphor for don't be breaking our rules and traditions and being taboo and acting all crazy. Number 9, they warn them, do not defecate in ipu, or food, which means always keep the sacred instruments clean. Now that's a big one right there. We're talking about being clean, talking about being presentable, you know. All of these laws are stories and metaphors for what not to do or what to do. They warn them that they should not urinate in Afo. And Afo is the place where the palm oil is made in Yoruba land. Palm oil is very important in Ifa. Remember that. And it basically means keep the temple clean. Now, you probably can find this in every religion, spiritual system on earth. Who wants a dirty temple? Who wants a dirty place where they do their offerings or their prayers? Nobody. They warn them not to take the blind man's cane. This means they should always respect those who are weaker and treat people well and with due respect. Respect your elders. Respect people that you might not be, you know, you might be more well off in life than them, but you still gotta respect them. There are people that are going to be weaker than you. There are people that are going to be smaller than you. Still, we got to respect them. That's a divine law right there. 12, they warn them not to take on the old man's cane, which means respect to the elders and treat them well. So 12 and 11, oh, hold on. You doing that fine. Oh, so you see 11 and 12 are kind of linked together, because 11 talks about a blind man's cane too, but it's a different message on 12 because it says we got to respect the elders as well. And we always, especially Team Osiris, Amarat Squad, Outlaw RBG, we always respect our elders. We stand on the shoulders of our elders. Professor James Smalls, Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Asa Hilliard, Khalid Muhammad, and others, man. Number 13, they warn them not to go to bed with the wife of Agboni. And that's a title given to a politician or a judge. And it basically means respect moral laws. That's in every spiritual system, every religion on the planet. You gotta respect the law of the land. They warn them never go to bed with the wife of a friend, which means do not betray a friend. Now, we see this in many spiritual systems. When we mess with other people's wives, man, that's in the 42 laws of Ma'at, that's in the 10 Commandments, that's in basically everything. You can't be messing with people's wives. They warn them not to be gossipers, which means never reveal secrets. So If your friend tells you something in confidence, keep it in confidence. They warned them not to disrespect or to go to bed with the wife of a Babalawo, which means respect those who occupy important positions. This is critical. Not only do we have up here, don't go to bed with the wife of a friend, but now it's don't go to bed with the wife of a Babalawo. So the Babalawo, like I said earlier, was the high priest or the Kari head priest of Kemet. So he's elevated in society. So you will suffer more if you go to bed with the wife of a Babalawo. Now, this is a little background on the 16th law. When the elders arrived on earth, they did exactly the things that they were forbidden to do. So the first elders broke all these laws, all 16 of them. They began to die, one after another. They screamed and accused Orunmila of assassinating them. Remember, I told you Orunmila is the deity or spirit of divine knowledge. Orunmila said that it was not him who was killing them. Orunmila said that the elders were dying because they did not follow the commandments of Ifa. Your eldership is your responsibility. Your eldership is your responsibility. So when we talk about elders in the community, it's just not somebody that's old. It's not just somebody that's lived a long time. It's a responsibility. Your eldership is a responsibility. You have a responsibility to lead your community and to teach the young people to not to make the same mistakes you did, or to impart knowledge on them so they can grow to be a better person, to be a better Pan-African, to be a better Hebrew, to be a better Muslim, whatever. It's your responsibility. Eldership does not tell a person ahead of time before it touches one, which basically means you may be called to be an elder. You may not think you're qualified, but you may be called to be an elder. It's your responsibility. You got to step up to the plate. Now we're going to go into some Orishas. Everybody knows this Orisha. Shango, the most popular Orisha. Everybody wants to be Shango in their reading, trust me. All right, this is the attributes. He has a ferocious temper with violent energy. He's of a warrior class. He's a fierce warrior. Let's talk about the first two for a second. It is said that Shango has unlimited amounts of emotional energy, meaning he can summon up enough emotion to give him basically strength. Now, that's kind of like put you in the mind frame of like Dragon Ball Z or something, you know, him powering up, going Super Saiyan. But when you think of that, think of Shango. When he gets angry, he's ferocious, kind of like the Hulk. The more angry he gets, the more powerful he gets. He's a very powerful guy, and he carries a double-sided axe, much like Thor. Now, he's a warrior class, which means he likes to go to war. He gets busy. Now, he's also the Orisha of thunder and lightning. I just told you that he carries a double axe like Thor, right? And he's also the god of thunder and lightning. Somebody knows something about Africa that they don't want you to know about yourselves. He's got a polygamy thing going here. He's got Oshun, Oya, and Oba. These are his wives. He's got a polygamy thing going here. But I mean, he balances them well. Oya later steals the lightning from him. So they are forced to work together for thunder and lightning. That's that divine balance that's common in African spiritual systems. Oshun, the goddess of love, she comes to him. But both of these women used to be with his brother, Ogun, and they left him. They left Ogun for Shango. So Shango's a bad boy. Shango's a ladies' man. You know, Shango get 3 wives. Some Orishas don't have 1. You know? And like I said, unlimited amounts of emotional energy. This is my mother Orisha right here. This is Yemaya. She's the goddess of the ocean. Now, she has that motherhood quality, which means if she's your mother, your Orisha, when you get your reading like she's mine, she keeps you out of trouble. She's that whispering ear that says, hey, you need to get out of here, stuff finna get crazy, or don't go over there, or throw that girl's number away. You know what I'm talking about. Protection and primordial ocean. So talking about creation story, they dig into the primordial waters to create civilization. That's Yemaya. She's frequently depicted as pregnant. That's because of that motherhood quality. So if you see her pregnant, you know, go back to the picture. Okay, all of them not gonna look like this. Some of them she's gonna be pregnant. So remember that when you see images of Yemaya. Now down here I have Olokun. Olokun is the other half of Yemaya. He's separate, but the two go hand in hand. Olokun is the fierce wrath of the ocean. He's the deep sea ocean. So Olokun is that deity where, you know, storms and typhoons stuff. That's him. That's Olokun. It is said to not separate the two because you will invoke the wrath of one or the other. So if you get your reading, if you're a male, if you're a Olokun, if you're a female, if you're Yemaya, well, sometimes it doesn't matter. If you're a male and you can get Yemaya just based on your spirit. But if you get one, they're going to link the two together. Oludumare Olorun, which is pictured here, and Olofi. Now, why did I link all three of these together? Because they are all the same spirit manifested in three ways. This will become familiar to people that study Kemet, where Ra said, or once I was 193, same concept. Now, Oludumare is the all in all. He is the supreme Orisha. He manifested himself, and then he manifested himself in three ways. This becomes familiar, especially in the book of Ra, Trampling a Pet, when Kepler, who is another manifestation of Ra, says, in the beginning, I existed in existence itself, and I was alone. So is he. Same concept. So he manifests himself in the ways of Olorun. Olorun is heaven. So he got the ancestral realm on lock. That's his territory. Olofi represents earth. So this is Olofi's territory. And Oludumare just kind of doesn't, you know, deal with earth matters or heaven matters. He deals directly with the Orishas. Now, for those who know who Nebuchadnezzar is, Nebuchadnezzar in Kemet, the all in all, Ra, Ptah, Amen, all of those are manifestations of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar doesn't have a temple in Kemet. A lot of people, they give reverence and respect to Oludumare just like Nebuchadnezzar in Kemet. So they'll say Olorun or Olofi is the all in all out of respect to Oludumare, because he is the all in all. He is everything. And I just mentioned the same as Ra, Ptah, Amen, and Kemet. Now, this is a little bonus that I threw in here. We're going to talk about some parallels here. Pyramids in Nigeria. These are called the Nsud pyramids, and they're 10 pyramid structures built by the Igbo people. Igbo people, shouts out to Polite. These are the people in Nsud and Agbaja, Akwa. These structures were made of mud and clay, which were 5 circular stacks, which laid on each other, decreasing in circumference. The base was 60 feet in circumference and a height of 2 to 6 feet. The second layer was 45 feet in circumference. The structure was sacred in Igbo culture and is considered the residence of their all in all, Allah, where one of their all in alls, Allah, because the tribe we're talking about here is the Odiani people. There's another spiritual system in Nigeria that's has the same divine structure as Ifa, but it's a little different, especially in the names of their deities. And this is the source right here, Thomas Basin George, among the Igbos of Nigeria. And I even got the code right here, so y'all can't say I made the book up. This is the pyramid. Right here. Now, y'all probably say, I've seen this type of architecture before. Yes, you have. In Saqqara, the first pyramid of Kemet, the step pyramid, built by Grandmaster Imhotep for Shosha Neterket. Right here. You see the steps. Now, in Kemet, this signified, In Kemet, this signified him stepping up to his divination, to the Amduat. We don't even have a date for these pyramids. Tried to find it, couldn't find a date on it. We don't know when they were built, but the similar structure and the architecture is clear. Now we're going to get into Loa. Loa These are the traditions right here. And they are also referred to as the mysteries or the invisibles, or the intermediates between Bandai, which means the all in all. Again, the all in all. This is distant from the world and humanity. So we're talking about a realm where us as humans can't see. Now, mysteries. We've heard this common with many African cosmological systems. They classify them as mysteries because they're not indigenous to them, so they're mysteries to them. But to the people here, they're not mysteries. Unlike the saints, angels, however, they are not simply prayed to, they are served. So these people serve their divine spirits. They don't just pray to them, they don't just give them reverence and respect. They serve them. So if a divine spirit puts something on you to do, you do it. They are each distinct beings with their own personalities, dislikes and likes, distinct sacred rhythm, songs, dances, rituals, symbols, and special modes of service. I know that sounds like Orishas and Netcherus because it is. All of them have different personalities, symbols, etc. Contrary to popular belief, Loa are not deities in and of themselves. They are the intermediaries for and dependent on and distance Bondi. So this is saying that these deities are a part of a system. They're a part of the all in all. Just like in Kemet, just like in the Orisha system, these divine spirits are a part of something greater, the supreme deity. Now this is the LOA Creation Story. Now this is very important. Damballa, which is their all in all, he's described as a sky serpent. Hold up. Another serpent in African cosmology. Yes, we see that in Kemet, and we're going to see it in Afat Rule 2 later on. This serpent is revered throughout Africa. No matter where you go, you're going to see that serpent. Now, he's known as the wise and loving father. That's his Zoop type or archetype. He created all the waters of the earth. Going into the primordial waters again. Here we go. In the form of a serpent, the movement of his 7,000 coils formed the hills, valleys on earth, and brought forth stars and planets to the heavens. He forged the metals from heat and sent forth lightning bolts to form sacred rocks and stones. So obviously this is a metaphor. That great reverence for that serpent, him being able to change shapes, him being able to adapt, him going through an evolutionary process himself. When he shed his skin in the sun, so we got reverence for the sun again, just like Ra, releasing all the waters over the land, the sun, the stone, and the water, he created a rainbow. So this is why I'm so particular about this rainbow. Anybody knows me. You know, this is our symbol first. That's all I'm going to say, man. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to move on. Damballa loved the rainbow's beauty and made her his wife, Adia Wido. Adia Wido represents the sky powers that is symbolized by the rainbow. She is the wife of Damballa. She shares his function and cosmic protector and giver of blessing. So again, the rainbow became his wife. When he shed his skin into the sun, he created the rainbow. So the guy said, man, I need a wife. So he created a wife. This is African spirituality right here. And this is why so many of our indigenous African brothers are opposed to homosexuality, because this right here is always a man and a woman. And out of the rainbow, he made his wife. She serves as the cosmic protector. That's how we venerate our women in African culture. She's not under him. She's at his side. It says she shares his same function, which means she has the same powers as the all in all. The revelations of the Loa descended upon the first faithful in where? Ifa. A legendary city located in Nigeria. Therefore, everything in life and all spiritual strength comes from Ifa. Hold on, wait a minute. So this is a separate creation story, right? This is Loa. But it's talking about the legendary city in Nigeria, Ifa. But this is classified as Haitian voodoo. Okay, I got it. The homeland of all Voodoo devotees, where Ifa is located in a city called Guinea, from where they forced to flee in the African diaspora. In death, the higher soul will return to Guinea, the world of the dead, or like Amduat, is said to be under the water. So they're returning back to the primordial waters, below the earth inside. To reside with the Loa is to reside with the ancestral spirits. Because of this, all practitioners of Voodoo refer to themselves as T Guinean, sons and daughters of Guinean. So let's think about this. Different cosmology systems, still giving reverence back to Nigeria. Still talking about Voodoo as the basis for Nigeria. But this is supposed to be in Haiti. So this is telling you right now, my Haitian brothers and sisters, we are still all Africans. Now, Loa, or LWA as it's sometimes spelled, it's been described as Haitian Voodoo, as I said. But out of the spiritual systems of Iwi and Fan, which are traditional African spiritual systems, is where you get Loa from. Even down to the deities' names, same thing. Now, Iwi is primarily in Togo, and Fan is an African ethnic and linguistic group in the country of Benin. So we got two African countries right here that make up Loa. So this just goes to show you that during the transatlantic slave trade, when they were taking our brothers and dropping them off on these islands, these traditions of Iwi and Fan survived. The biggest difference is the patron saints and the Catholic saints as a result of enslavement. Now, I touched on this during Orisha and Neteru because somebody asked me about Santeria. Now, I want to elaborate because some people thought I was saying one thing and not the other. I said that it's because of hostile takeover that these Catholic saints are attached to these spirits, but that's not the only reason. Now, think about it. You on a ship. You on a ship, and they about to wipe out your whole spiritual system. Your whole way of life is about to be wiped out. How can you practice your spiritual system without religious persecution? You involve these Catholic saints and attach them to your spirits. Makes white folks cool. They're like, well, you know, I kind of like some of that stuff. You know, you attach, you know, Michael, the archangel, we'll be good. And this is how it survived. Them attaching themselves to their Catholic saints. Now, some people say, you know, they may be a sellout nature or, you know, this, that, and the third. But when you are not in control of your environment and you're not in control of your life and you keep your culture, you just hide it with this, it's only the strong survive at that point. It's about survival. These are what are called VEVs or VEVs. This is one of their deities, Aizen. Now look at this symbol. Oh, the Freemason brothers gonna kill me. Woo! Is that not the square and the compass? Oh, they gonna kill me. Don't worry, it's gonna get worse. This is the VEV explained. According to Mila Regard, the VEVs represent figures of astral forces. In the course of Voodoo ceremonies, the reproduction of astral forces represented by the VEVs obliges the Loas to descend to earth. So these VEVs are symbols to get the divine forces to come help them on earth. Now remember, they serve these divine forces. So when they come, they're going to give them something to do, and then they're going to serve those Loas. Every Loa has his or her own unique VEV. Everyone. Just like you see in Kemet, just like you see with the Orishas, everyone has their own sign and symbol. Although the regional differences have led to different VEVs for the same Loa, in some cases, sacrifices and offerings are usually placed upon them with food, drink, and being commonly used. Let me stop right there because I know they're going to beat me up on this word right here. Sacrifices. Oh, you guys kill things. Let me ask you something. When you go to your grocery store and you pick up that pack of meatloaf, it's already dead for you, right? But that meatloaf was not prayed over. That meatloaf was not cared for. You didn't thank that animal for its ancestral spirit. it was slaughtered. It was slaughtered in a violent way and put on a plate for your enjoyment and put it with preservatives for it to still look red when you bought it so you wouldn't see the reality of it. That's not what we do here in African spirituality. These sacred animals that are a part of the sacrifices, yes, I said animals. Now, I know what they're going to ask me, but didn't they sacrifice people? In some cases, but not the people of their tribe, not African people. In most instances, invaders were sacrificed. So if they were in wars with a European, with a Portuguese, whatever you want to call it, and they won the war, they finna get sacrificed to my deities. That's war. That's war. And if you got a problem with that, then you got a problem with the United States Army because they do the same thing. Keep moving. Ayizan is a racine, and racine means a root of life, which he very important. And it's associated with the Voodoo rites of initiation. As the spiritual parents of the priesthood, she and her husband are the two Loa involved in the Kanzo rites. These are the priests. The Kanzos are like, their rites are like the rites of the Babalaos or the rites of the Karye priest, so on and so forth. Now, they're both powerful and guardians of the Rigoman, or the correct and appropriate form of Voodoo service. That's what Rigoman. Basically, Ayizan and her husband are the keepers of the science. They are the divine spirits that make sure everything goes on correctly and goes on rightly within the cosmological system. Yeah, I know that was dope. Uh-oh, more squares and compasses on both sides and in the middle. Oh, yeah, and guess who this is? This is Damballa. This is their all in all. Their supreme deity has 1, 2, 3 squares and compasses. So where you getting this these symbols from, Freemasonry? Don't forget, the Haitians fought Napoleon in the Haitian Revolution. Did he not see these and maybe steal these symbols? Look at the 2 snakes, the serpent again. What are they wrapping around? Looks like some type of stick. You will see this in Kemet as well. This is similar to Imhotep's symbol. And what's this at the bottom? Yeah, I know what it looks like, but we're not even going to go there. Now, the 2 flags on the end, some say that these are equivalent to the Netra symbol. I disagree. I say the Netra symbol is an axe, but either way you want to go. Damballa continued. He's the most important of all the Loa. He's the sky father, the primordial creator of life. He rules the mind, the intellect, the cosmic equilibrium. Damballa is the serpent and the spirit of the great master, created the cosmos by using his 7,000 coals to form the stars, the planets, the heavens, that shape the hills and valleys on earth by shedding his serpent skin. Damballa created all waters on earth. So this is the guy. Uh-oh. I talked about Ogun with the Orishas. He's in Loa too. This is his VEVE. This is the tattoo that I had that I was trying to show you. This is his VEVE. And now he's in 2 African cosmological systems. So this is the proof that the Iwi and Fon systems survived from Africa and came to Haiti. Now the priests of the Loa, they're called the Hugan. It's a term for a male priest in Haitian voodoo or voodoo. The term is derived from the Fon word. Uh-oh, we got Fon again. That's Africa. Hangan. There are 2 ranks of the Hangan. The Hangan, boy, these words, boy. Wait, let me just tell y'all something. When y'all start studying African cosmologies, you're going to have to get a new tongue. Just tell you that right now. Yours ain't going to work. Azogui, and those are the high priests, and then the Hangan Serpim, which are the junior priests. The Hangan Asogui is the highest member of the clergy in Voodoo and the only one with the authority to ordain other priests. So this is like the Babalaos. These are the Aungans, the Babalaos, the Kari Hebs, all the same type of priests. These are the priestess. Didn't forget about you, sisters. They're called the Mambo. This is the term for the female priestess. They are the highest form of clergy in the religion, whose responsibility is to preserve the rituals, songs, and maintain the relationship between the spirits and the community as a whole. Though some of this responsibility is on the whole community as well. That's very important. And I put that in there because you always hear the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So the community serves their purpose as well. It's not all on the priests. It's not all on the community. It's not all on the spirits. It's a system. It's ma'at. It's balance. Now, they are entrusted with leading the service of all the spirits of their lineage. That's a big responsibility right there. All leading the service of all the spirits of their lineage. And that's how we treat our women in African spirituality. Look at that responsibility. The women are the key to African liberation. I said, there are two ranks of the Mambo, and just like these are the same names that you see in the Haungan, just with the endings here, just with Mambo in front of it. And those represent the high priestess and the junior priestess. And just like with the Haungan, the Mambo Asogui is the only one with the authority to ordain other priests. Now we get into the nations of Loa. Oh, it's not just in one place. We got the Rada Loa. They're generally older and more beneficent Loa. They include Legba, and if you know Ifa, Legba, the opener of the way, Loku, Ayizan, Anesthesia, Pai, Dambala, Wido, and Aida, Wido, Oruzuli, Frida, La Serene, and Agui. Their traditional color is white and opposed to specific colors of individual Loa. So these are the more older and beneficent Loa. This color wearing white, we see this a lot with Obatala, and he's a more older beneficent deity in the Orishas. Petroloa. The Petroloa are generally more fiery, occasionally aggressive and warlike, and are associated with Haiti and the New World. Now, why would they associate them with Haiti and the New World? Remember, because of their revolution, that's how they got their freedom. So their New World started because of these fiery deities right here. They include Izili Dantor, Marinet, Met Kalufu, and Maritar Karifor means master crossroads. Their traditional color is red, that fiery energy. So Shango would be in this if he was a part of this cosmology system. Congo Loa. Oh, now we're going into the Congo, but they have their own spiritual system. Well, this is that too. This is these Lao include many. The Simbi Loa, which includes the Marinet, a fierce but more feared female Loa. This is kind of like Sekhmet right here. This is kind of like Sekhmet. Look at the word Simbi. I can't say enough about that. Now, Nagoa Loa, originated in Yoruba land. Now, we know Yoruba land has Ifa, but this originated there. So what does that tell you? These systems are borrowing from each other. That's why they're so similar. This nation includes many of the Ogun Lawa. So Ogun has his own Loa within inside the nations. The Gedi Loa. The Gedi Loas are the spirits of the dead. So these are like the, I believe the term is the Ogungun in Orisha. And I can't think of the word in Kemet, but oh, yes, I can. It's Moot. Moot means dead. They are traditionally led by the barons, the LaCroix, Samedi, and we're going to get into Samedi because y'all see him a lot. Simitri, Criminal, and Magman Bariki. The Gedi as a family are loud, rude, although they are rarely the point of a real insult. They're sexual and usually have a lot of fun. As those who have lived already, they have nothing to fear and frequently will display how far past consequences and feeling they are when they come through into the service, eating glass, raw chilies, and anointing their sensitive areas with chili rum, for example. Their traditional colors are black or purple. These are the wildfires, baby. They don't care. But think about it. They're dead. That's why they act like that. They've already left Earth. They've served their LOAs. They've done whatever. So that's why they act this way. They're the spirits of the dead. Oh, Mr. Semitic. Boo. A lot of y'all think this guy is evil. I see it on devil worshiping posts or whatever. This guy with this cigar, these skulls around here. Oh, it's got a cross up here. Most people don't talk about that. And this pipe, this serpent, again, the serpent. Let's talk about Mr. Baron Samedi. He is noted for disruption, obscenity, debauchery, and having a particular fondness for tobacco and rum fused with hot peppers. Additionally, he is a LOA of resurrection. They don't tell you this part. And later, he has the capacity, he is often called upon for healing by those near and approaching death. And it is only the Baron who can accept an individual into the realm of the dead. This is Anubis. It's not evil. Baron Samedi spends most of his time within the invisible realm of the Voodoo. So he spends his time in the Amduai. He doesn't even bother you. He is notorious for his outrageous behavior and swearing continuously and making filthy jokes at other spirits. He has fun. That's what he likes to do. He is married to another powerful spirit known as Mama Bariki, but often chases after mortal women. He loves smoking, drinking, and is rarely seen with a cigar in his mouth or a glass of rum in his bony fingers. So if he's evil, a lot of you all are evil, because I see this behavior a lot, especially this smoking and drinking and chasing after women. Baron Samedi can usually be found at a crossroad between the worlds of the living and the dead. When someone dies, he digs their grave and greets their soul after they have been buried, leading them to the underworld. So remember the papyrus of Anai, that scene where you see the leading into there. That's what he's doing. He greets you and he leads you to the underworld. Now we're going to get into my spiritual system. This is Afat Rug, or way of Rug, or way of divine, as it's translated in Wolof. This is the spiritual system of the Ser people. Now let me talk about the Ser people for a minute, because these are my people and my traditions. The Ser people are a people that migrated from Kemet in the 10th century. They settled in Senegambia. And we're going to go over that proof a little later in the slide. The Ser system, Afat Rug, way of the divine, is a original religious beliefs and practices and teachings of the Ser people. The Ser believe in a universal supreme deity called Rug. Rug is consonant with Ra. Also known as Rug Sini. Ser religious beliefs encompass the ancient chants and poems, venerations and offerings to the Ser gods and goddesses, the Ser saints and ancestral spirits known as the Panguls, astronomy, initiation rites, medicine, cosmology, and history of the Ser people. Whoa, wait a minute, astronomy? We just thought that was in Kemet, huh? No, sir, no, sir. We have this here too. Medicine, Imhotep was the only one. Rug is both everywhere and nowhere, meaning he's the all in all. That is why there is no house for Rug. So this is just like we see with Nebuchadnezzar in Kemet, where he has no temple. A lot of people say they believe in Nebuchadnezzar. Where's the temple? This is an African principle. He's the all in all. He doesn't need a temple. His temple is everywhere and nowhere. The Sers pray to Rug through intercessors. They do not make direct animal sacrifices to Rug. That's a respect thing as well. There is no heaven or hell in the Ser religion. The immortality of the soul and reincarnation, that's Sid in Seher or Wolof dialect, is a strong held belief in the Ser religion. The Pangu, the ancestral spirits of those who live pure lives and after they have passed on to the spirit world of Jana Niwi and canonicized as holy saints. So we see this saints principle again in this spiritual system. They will be called upon and venerated and have the power to intercede between the living and the divine. So they can transcend time and space. Acceptance by the ancestors who have long departed and have the ability to intercede with the divine is as close to heaven after one passes. So if you'll get to the heavenly gates, if you will, and your ancestors say you did a good job, you've long departed, and you have the ability to intercede with the divine. You did good work on earth. You fought for your people. You loved your people. You spread knowledge. You can be with us. That is heaven to them. Rejection by the ancestors is becoming a lost and wandering soul, and that's hell to them. So if the ancestors say you were terrible, you didn't abide by any of the laws, you didn't pray to us, you stepped outside your culture, you're a disgrace. You can't be with us. They left wandering as a soul, and that's hell to them. Now think about the approval in the matrilineal and patriarchal system in Africa. It's so much reverence and respect right here. Their heaven and hell depends on their ancestors' opinion. That is how important ancestors are to African people. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up. This is the Yanir star. Now you may be thinking this is just a regular 5-point star, right? No, sir. Not at all. The Yanir star is the symbol of the universe in the Sahur cosmology, commonly known as the star of what? Sirius? Wait a minute. I thought Sirius was only in Kemet. I thought Sirius was only in the Dogon. Oh, no, sir. It's right here as well. So the Sabu Septa in Kemet, the Polo Tolo, I believe it is, in Dogon, it's right here. Star of Yanir. The star Sirius is one of the most important and sacred stars in the Sur religious cosmology and symbolism. The Sur high priest and priestess, which are called the Saltigus, and the Heterary Rain priest, chart Yanir. Oh, so they're tracking this star, just like the Kemetite or the Remech did, people of Kemet, just like the Dogons did when they told the European astrologists about Sirius B before they knew about it. They're charting this star. This star has a lot of reverence and respect in the African cosmology. In order to forecast rainfall and enable farmers to start planting seeds. So they're agriculturists, they're pastoralists, just like you see in Kemet. In Sahur religious cosmology, it is the symbol of the universe. This star is so important, they chart it for their crops, to plant seeds, and they revere it as the universe. Man, that's powerful. Now let's get into the creation story. The Sahur people is intricate. The creation story of the Sahur people is intricately linked to the first trees created on the planet Earth by Ru. You remember the tree factor in Ifa. The Earth's formation began with the swamp, again, water. The Earth was not formed until long after the creation of the first three worlds, the waters of the underworld, primordial waters again, every time. The air, so this would be like Shu, which included the higher world, which is the sun, the moon, and the stars, and Earth. Rug is the creator and fashioner of the universe and everything in it. The creation is based on a mythological cosmic egg. Oh, you'll see that in Kemet and in the Dogon as well. There's a book, Cosmic Egg by Richard Bruce, where they talk about they use a Kobe scientific instrument to port it towards the darkest corner of space, and they found a cosmic egg shaping ball that was emitting radiation. This is it, thousands of years before they even had a Kobe Institute or instrument to discover it. And the principles of chaos. So this creation is based on the mythical cosmic egg and the principles of chaos. Freemasons have a saying, order out of chaos. Wonder where they got it from. Now, this creation story continued. Before the existence of the universe, Rug existed where? By himself. Same stuff over and over, family. You can't just study Kemet. You got to get out of Kemet and study these other cosmological stories and see how they relate to Kemet. And you'll find this in the evolution of Ra and overthrowing of Pet, and also with the Shabaka stone with Ptah and Minifer. There was nothing but silence and darkness, meaning he was alone. The Surher notion of balance and perfection illustrates the creation of the higher spiritual order and corresponds to the motif of chaos. Again, chaos, order out of chaos, or de child. Its creation was the union of what? Male and female principles. Again, that balance, that mod, boy. Every single time, duality, duality, duality. With Rug, the supreme transcendental principal entity, becoming the embodiment of an androgynous godfather and godmother. Duality again. However, it is from the female component of the supreme being, the no-tik-two, out of the female womb, that the divine brought forth ancestors of modern humans, with a female being the first to be created. So when you hear the Amara Squad talk about evolution, when you hear the Amara Squad saying that we all came from a woman, it's right there in African cosmology. Modern humans came from a woman. We don't subscribe to any other alien story or we came from wherever. We came from a woman. I got here through a woman. All of the competing versions attest to that. This myth is the general consensus and represents the absolute truth in the Surher primordial time. So this is the most accurate story of all. The feminine world has also played a crucial role in the creation process of the universe and the first humans. This is linked to the Surher philosophy of beauty and Surher numbers found in the Surher symbolism. I love the symbolism, by the way. Now listen to this. With the number 3 symbolizing the feminine world, the number 4 symbolizing the masculine world, and the number 7, which is the number of completion in a lot of other cosmological stories, representing the balance and perfection, something that the Surhers try to achieve in their daily lives and in their environment they find themselves in. Now, come on, family. 3, 4, and 7, the balance, 3 and 4 equals 7, and the balance. This is my right here. 3 plus 4 is 7. It don't get much easier than that. Sacred trees. Now, there are a lot of sacred trees in this cosmology story. This is the sass, commonly associated with the sprig of acacia. Uh-oh, Freemasons. Sprig of acacia. I know it represents immortality in your cosmological theology. But here, the tree of life. So we're still talking about life here. And therefore, the origin of life on earth came from the sprig of acacia. And what did they lay by Hiram Abiff when he was dead? Sprig of acacia. Somebody knows something about Africa they don't want you to know about yourself. This is the Nku Haile, prized for its medicinal purposes and used for curing different kinds of illness, wounds, and snake bites. Now, they actually use this tree to this day. And we're going to show you a picture of these huge trees. Like, these trees are massive. The Psalm. After the ancients lost confidence in this tree, the sprig of acacia, the Psalm tree, and this is the Propolis africana, a species of Propolis, the Psalm was adopted. The Psalm is one of the largest and most mysterious trees found in the Surher country. Its wood is very hard and resistant to rot. Like I said, these trees are massive. The Nkwal is known by various names, and its current scientific name is the Mentoragana in Ermis. So these are real trees. These are not mythical trees. These are not metaphoric trees. These are real trees in Senegambia. The Imbos was the first tree created by the Supreme Being. However, it grew and kept growing until it reached the Supreme Being. Now, the story behind that is it kept growing, it kept growing, it kept growing. It got to the Supreme Being, and he sent it back down to Earth. Kind of like, what are you doing here? I left you there on Earth for the humans to take part with you. And this is an example of these big trees. Look at that. Look at that bark. These trees are huge. Look how high they had to get up. I mean, the shot. You're not cutting this down in one day unless you spend all day out there. Look at this tree. This is called a baobab tree. Look at the tree trunks. Look at the structure. This tree, well, it's on the next slide. But I want you to look at the people around if you can see them. Like, look at the size of the people compared to the size of the tree. The baobab tree is also called the tree of life, 2,000 years old, and it can hold up to 4,500 liters of water. The fibers from the bark can be turned into rope, cloth, fresh leaves, and are often eaten to boost the immune system. So this tree provides you with food, clothing, and shelter, which all your spiritual systems should do. The medicinal properties of the baobab fruit are amaze balls, 3 times the size of vitamin C as in orange juice, 50% more calcium than in spinach, and it has a plentiful source of antioxidants, which are disease-fighting molecules credited with helping to reduce the risk of cancer and heart disease. I don't need no doctor. I got my tree, my sacred tree that my ancestors gave me. Listen to that. It provides you food, clothing, and shelter, vitamin C, calcium, antioxidants, fights off cancer and heart disease. What else do you need? Now, this is a drawing of the universal map in their spiritual system. What does the top of this map look like? Yeah, follow the lines down. This is a topographic or aerial view of a pyramid. The word Surher means one who traces the temple. What is the temple in Kemet? Don't get much more proof than that these people migrated from Kemet in the 10th century. I wish it was more clear so I could point out some things on here, but you see the sacred trees right here and right here and right here. The serpent again? This is the symbol for the divine spirits, the Pangus, a serpent wrapped around a stick. It's also called the Ma Saum, which is a specific type of king. The Pangu K, the ancestors. The etymology, they're also called Fangus. I should say that. Pangu is the plural of Fangu. The etymology of Fangu comes from the Surher phrase Fangu, which means sacred serpent. Serpent again. The plural is just Pangu. Fangu means serpent. These are the 2 main types of Pangu, non-human and human Pangu, which mean we can be divine spirits. Both sacred and ancient, but the former is the more ancient as a general rule. The non-human Pangu includes ancient sacred places with vital spiritual energies and personalized as such. These Pangus generally are the personifications of natural forces. Same thing we see with the Orishas, same thing we see in Lao, same thing we see in Kemet. We see it right here too, the personification of natural forces. Please stop walking around saying Heru is a real person. Heru is a divine spirit. Human Pangu are, on the other hand, became Pangu once they are canonized after death. So it's a rite of passage. You can't just be a Pangu one day. You got to earn it. You got to be near this event in your life. Thus, some are ancient, others are medieval. Through their intercession with the divine, they form a link that transmits vital energies. Not every dead ancient ancestor is canonized as a Pangu. This goes back to the responsibility of you being an elder. It's the same responsibility if you want to be a Pangu. If you're not living right, if you're not an upstanding man, if you didn't walk uprightly before Ru, you will not be canonized as a Pangu. Pangus and Fangus. We're going to go over some. Laga Ningon, canonized king of the Pangul during the reign of Maad, and Sing. Wasila Phai, which is the king of Sing in the 15th century. Homage is paid to him at the festival of Toru Piti, one of the religious festivals of the Surher calendar. These are two, Julang Jof and Ingojil Jof, husband and wife protectors of Ingol and several villages and towns within his facility, where the ceremony and offerings are made to the sacred tree of Inwal, believed to be the sacred tree of these two. Now, it's just like in Lao, where they had the spiritual couple that was responsible for the keeping of the science. This spiritual couple is responsible for the keeping of the towns and the sacred trees. Lugun Jof is a typical Fangu that delivers justice and had many devotees. Canonized at the time of Laman Jang Jof. So think about what they're saying here. They keep saying canonized at this, canonized at this. They're talking about when these people died and became Pangus. So these are still ancestral spirits. Priest of the Surher people. The Salty Yu are the high priests. So these are the Hugans, the Babalaos, the Karihebs. These are them in this culture. The Salty Yu. They are the high priests and priestesses who reside over the religious system, ceremonies, and the affairs of the Surher people. They usually come from ancient Surher paternal families, such as the title is usually inherited by birthright, just like in Kemet, where the Kariheb priests are brought up from birth, basically. And they go in when they're 7, come out when they're 47, the 40 years it takes to be a Kariheb priest. It's the same system here. They bring them up from birth to be these people. They are chosen. Same, I put it in here. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. All right, we're going to these upright stones. And I want to go to the end first. I don't want to start with those stones. Let's start with the stones that most people have heard of. This is Naptoplaya. These is the natural satellite and the marking system in Kemet. Sometimes people say it's in Nubia, but let's just say, it's in Upper Kemet. But did you know that there's similar stones in Tia, Ethiopia? Same type of stones. And in one of these stones has this, and you can, man, I wish y'all would, you could see the arms here, and it makes out. It's the same stone and the same marking that is in Kemet, is this inscription on this stone right here. If you want to see the inscription on this stone, type in Ashwa Kwesi Cushite's lecture when he's in Ethiopia, and he shows what's on this stone. But did you know the same stones are in Senegambia? The cult of the upright stones, such as the Senegambia stone circles, which were probably built by the predecessors of the Surher people. So these are the people before the Surher people. These are the Surher's ancestors that put these stones here. And they've been there. These stones are also used in upright burials. So in all three, we see these stones in these civilizations. It's not a coincidence, people. Africans have a spiritual system that encompasses the entire continent, different variations here and there, but it's still the same system. I got to give a big props to this man right here, Professor James Smalls. Professor James Smalls is one of the only elders that I know of out there holding it down, not only teaching Kemet, but he's teaching Vodun as well. It's important, it's imperative, it's essential that we stop talking that much about Kemet and Ethiopia and Nubia and get into West Africa. Genetically, most Black people in America are kin to West Africa via the transatlantic slave trade. So we're talking about Gambia, Senegal, Cameroon, Nigeria, Chad, this area. We have to study where we came directly. We may have one time been in Kemet, but they took our ancestors directly from West Africa. So we got to get on our West African game. I can't thank the professor enough. Got a chance to meet him at the science conference in Atlanta. Thank you, Professor James Smalls, from the bottom of my heart. This is another good book, Classical Writing of Ifa and Yoruba Tradition, Path to Priesthood, The Making of an African Priest in the American World by Baba Akinkungi Karad. He is a Babalawo. So you're getting a book written by a traditional Babalawo from Nigeria. So, you know, if you can find this book on Amazon. So please, brothers, if you want to know more about Ifa, pick up this book. This is another good book to get, Finding Soul on the Path of Orisha. It deals with Western African traditions as well. Another great book to pick up. It's also on Amazon. These are more sources. The Meaning of the Azin's Name by Max Beauvoir. The Haitian Voodoo Handbook, Kinzan Filan, Milo Regard, Secrets of Voodoo, Introduction to Voodoo in Haiti, Bob Correct, Yap and Yap, the genesis of Yap and Yap. These are terms used in the Afat Rug tradition, Yap and Yap. La Civilisation Sahur, Pangul, Volume 2, by Les Novels, and it's an edition of Africanas du Senegal. A lot of this is in French, so I had some people that I knew translated for me, but it's a good book if you know somebody that can translate it for you. And this book, I can't say enough about this book right here. Wade Noble's Haiti's Unfinished Revolution. Brothers and sisters, please pick up this book. A lot of people don't know who this brother Wade Nobles is. Go to your YouTube right after this. Type in Wade Noble's Black Think Tank. You're going to see him up there with the greats. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Van Sertima, Asa Hilliard. He was around with the best of them. And more importantly, he's still alive. He's still alive. We can still go see this man. And we can bring him in. Sonetta, reach out to this guy right here. He's powerful. This is another powerful book. A book that we all should have, the Encyclopedia of African Religion. It's a Library of Congress book and written by Malofi Keti Shanti of Temple University. This book probably has every African spiritual system reference in it. I mean, they did a bang-up job. Further readings. West African Traditional Religion by Opoku K.A. I forgot what his first name, middle name is. And we have African Traditional Religion, A Definition by Aduwu. We have African Religion, World's Religion by Lugaria. Now, I don't know if y'all noticed that. I gave y'all some sources, you know, about some African people and some non-African people. But these brothers right here, you definitely, because I know some people don't like to use sources outside of Africa. Well, these brothers straight out the continent. African Religions and Philosophy, Matibi, The Voodoo and Quantum Leap, Crowsley, Divine Horsemen, The Voodoo Gods of Haiti. This is a great book and talks about how the Haitian people, Louverture, Toussaint, Descartes, how they prayed to Ogun. Yeah, Ogun. Again, they prayed to him before they went into battle with Napoleon. Le Vaudou Haitian by Metro Oaks. And last, you know, I got to give my shout outs to my Outlaw RBG family. Salute. Y'all know I'm always going to rep the red, black, and green. Zayed Malik, my boy DJ, and y'all had him on this show first. KT the Arch Degree. Yes, sir. Officially Outlaw RBG, if y'all didn't know. He's our holistic Sunu. And Sunu means physician in Medu Necha. So that's the click. Shout out to Lisa Green and all the other brothers repping Outlaw RBG and RBG Worldwide. Lone Star, QC, Memphis RBG, Rom RBG in New York, Buffalo RBG, my boy Shango. Shouts out to all you brothers. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. You know I love all you brothers. Raising Awareness Group, another group that I do scholarship with. They're out there in the North area, Philadelphia area. My man Ivan, Mku MZ, Kufu, Ratsaka. These brothers got a lot of knowledge on them. They on Facebook. They've developed a curriculum for homeschooling your children. So get in contact with me. I'll point you in the right direction. My Kemet New family that I went on the trip to Kemet with Ash Raquasi and Mary Raquasi this summer. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. The best trip of my life, period. And I just wanted to shout you guys out, because I know we're going through this evolution, this Kepara, this transformation by ourselves. Well, we're not by ourselves, we have each other, but we know that we're going through this. So I want to give y'all some inspiration. Ash Raquasi and Mary Raquasi, I can't say enough about my Baba. I was fortunate enough to give him the Lifetime Dr. Ben Achievement Award at the RBG weekend this year. A honor that I won't forget. UNIA Division 421 Atlanta chapter. I love y'all. Ross Marvin, Brother Dreadlocks, brothers put it down, man. ASCAC, in which I'm a member of, Mario Betty, salute to you and all the brothers that you inspire. And finally, as always Team Osiris, man. Shouts out to Ngozi, Khufu, Kamsu, Garfield. Y'all know what it is, man. We're going to keep bringing this scholarship. And everybody asked me about Osiris. Oh, why did you pick Osiris? That's Greek. That's Hellenistic. Well, it's not. It's an acronym. One soul infinitely resurrected in spirit, or one soul infinitely resurrected in science. That's what we're about. It's not. We are fully aware that this is not Osiris' name. This is Asar, or Wasir, if you want to go by the indigenous nouns and vowels. And this is just the meta nature for Asar. And always, honor our squad up, arrows up, man. Shouts out to Asar Imhotep, Ishmael Bey, Sanjeti, Ujawu, Dr. Ma'at. I ain't forget about the sister. You know, shouts out to all y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the counsel, the long phone calls, everything, man. Y'all did a lot for me. And I sincerely appreciate it. And that's the end of my presentation.
All right.
I appreciate it, man.
You're not over yet, because they threw some questions out there.
Let's go.
So you can stand right there.
Let me take this hat off.
I'll turn this off real quick.
All right. Let's go.
So, first question, you posted some books up there.
Oh.
If somebody wanted to know. No, it's good.
Oh,
They
okay.
saw it. They want to know, is there a website they can go to get information as well? If you don't know one off the top of your head, then I guess they can hit you up on Facebook or something. We'll give them contact information later, so you can send them the.
There is, and my actually, and I want to share this with you, family. My Babalao was tasked with bringing Ifa, the traditions of Ifa, to America. That is when he got his reading, that is what the Divine Spirit said that he has to do. So he has a website in which you can get a lot of information on the Orishas and the way of the Orishas. But hit me up on Facebook, Benjamin, Benjamin. My last name is spelled Njie, Njie. Hit me up on there. Now, I got a lot of friends. So, if you don't, if you can't add me, send me a message. I do check my other inbox. So send me a message and I'll point you in the right direction. You will also get me on Instagram, CINQUET. Get me on there, and we can dialogue on there as well.
Tell them about the Facebook group.
Oh, Facebook group, Young Conscious Mind African Diaspora. It's a group I created over a year ago. We share African history. We dialogue about African history. You can catch a lot of my work and other scholars' work in there. I try to put as much work in there as possible. The Facebook page, Team Osiris, we put a lot of information in there as well. And of course, the Amara Squad Scholarship Group.
All right.
Check them out.
So the next question is, somebody said, how would you locate others in the Ifa system?
Good question. There are Ifa temples that, advertise. Well, I won't say advertise, but, they have business cards. They have businesses. But my suggestion would be do as much research on that temple as possible, because there are some temples out there that are taking advantage of the African cosmology system, like they've been doing against us for years. And they're charging brothers ridiculous amounts of money just for an Orisha reading. We're not even talking about initiation yet. We're talking about an Orisha reading, and we're talking about ridiculous amounts of money just for their Orisha reading. I would say no more than $50 for a reading, but they got brothers out there charging, you know, ridiculous. We're talking about $100, $200, and it should never be that much. I also want to put the disclaimer out that there's an international Ifa and Yoruba organization. I do not recommend them because the president of this corporation or organization or business is not African, and he is one of those people charging ridiculous amounts of money. So I do not endorse them in any way. He has a book out called The Way of the Orisha, and although it's good information in that book, I do not endorse his organization strictly because this is an African tradition for African liberation, and we tired of getting hijacked.
All right. So the next question somebody says is that how can they reach? Let me see. If they wanted to go to a Babala or any kind of priest of Ifa or any of the system that you mentioned in Atlanta, how would they be able to get in contact with one, you know, in case they're interested in being initiated or something?
You are in Atlanta, you want to get initiated, you want to get your reading, hit me up on that contact information I said earlier. I will give you his number and y'all can dialogue. You can go to his house. He lives in Decatur and he has his shrine in his house. You know, all his statues of his Orishas, all of his Opan Ifa, his Aroki Ifa, everything. His Opili, his palm nuts. He's got everything in there. Doesn't charge too much money. You go in there and reconnect, man. Cool, brother. Tell him I sent you.
All right. So the next question is, somebody saw the Napta Playa. And they also saw the other stones that you posted up in Ethiopia. They want to know those stone systems, are they similar to like Stonehenge in England? You know, like what would be your feedback in regards to that? That was a question.
The Stonehenge in England is different because when you talk about Napta Playa is positioned in a way to where they basically can mark time and they can mark stars. It's more of an astronomy thing. And same way with the stones in Ethiopia. Stonehenge and this is just by me looking at it, I can't say yes or no, but from the way I'm looking at it, it doesn't look the same structure as found in Africa. It doesn't look like they're situated in a way to mark time. But I could be wrong. But I don't have any archaeological or anthropological evidence to say that that has anything to do with the African cosmology system or that the people that put them there were marking time the way our ancestors did.
Awesome. All right. So somebody wants you to do the SETI impersonation again. They say you did a great job with that.
I don't know why y'all keep wanting me to do this impersonation. Shouts out to the General, Sarah, Susan, SETI. Black Power. I'm black at your ass again with this real fucking talk. I love my brother SETI, man.
Yeah.
We keep a new family, man.
That's good. So we got some people that said, let me see. Somebody said this is one of the best videos I've ever seen on traditional African spirituality.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Somebody said they want to post it. They said it was great so far. Shout out to Benjamin Nye. Let me see.
Man, before I forget, man, real quick, y'all can see this hat right here, Nubia 25. Y'all gotta get this hat, man. Shouts out to Imhotep, man. This is the traditional way of spelling Kemet. You know, what I love about the Brothers brand is they are accurate with their Medu Neture on their brands. So even on the inside, you got different characters. So if you take my boy Wujalu's class on Raw Squad up, he can teach you how to read these symbols on the side and on the other side. So you don't have to take my word for it when I say something means something. Learn for yourself. So shouts out to Nubia 25 and my boy Ujabu.
All right. Another question somebody has is, you mentioned earlier that a lot of the West African spirituality borrowed from ancient Kemet. Mm-hmm. So somebody says, would you consider that plagiarism?
I'm not going to say they borrowed from ancient Kemet because they may have well existed before ancient Kemet. Mm-hmm. Now, this is what we're talking about when you talk about spiritual systems. Now, it is widely known that myself, Ngozi, we always talk about the Nilo-Saharians that were in Kemet. Now, I'm unsure at this time of my research if they migrated to Kemet, then went back, or if they were in Kemet and then just settled in these Nilo-Saharan areas. Of course, we know there were people in these Nilo-Saharan areas, but it's unsure from my research so far the migration of how it went. Were these people born in Kemet and went to Sub-Saharan Africa and then built there, or were they born there, migrated? I know some of them migrated, but it's hard to tell, an amount of people, because you could say, oh yeah, they migrated, but how many? We need to know how many, and that's when you talk about the archaeological and anthropological evidence, and that's very essential to determining fact or fiction. Because I could say, oh yeah, they were here and they went and built it and they went back. Can I prove that though? See, that's what we got, and that's what we stress here, Team Osiris on the Raw Squad, methodology. You've got to be able to put it within a method to where you put it in these steps, and by these steps, you can make a determination. Because men are flawed. I'm flawed. I may miss something, but if I put it through these steps and I run it 2 or 3 times, I'm going to get my answer. I always say if you attack something from the archaeological aspect, the linguistic aspect, and the culture aspect, you're going to find your answer.
Okay, awesome. All right, so another question is, why did not the West Africans of these spiritual systems document their way of life, their cosmogonies, etc., the same way that Kemet did?
Because Kemet is a desert. Kemet is a desert, and so it is the climate for let me back up. It's the climate for edging things in stone. Basically, it will be preserved for the test of time. The sand may cover it, but it's still intact. When you go to West Africa and you're talking about lush green areas, they don't have any places where they can carve anything in stone. It's the same thing with the where the Nile starts in the Uganda, Congo area. The Congo and the rainforest, it's ever changing. So you can't really, put things in stone or build these structures all over the place because it's an ever changing environment. So the Nilo Sub-Saharan Africans didn't have that benefit, but what they did is kept their oral traditions alive. And I believe they really wanted it that way because everyone goes to Kemet. They look at the structures, they go on these looky-loo tours, and they look at the structures and they go, wow, that's awesome. And then some people try to translate them. But as a result of that, now we have people outside of our specific culture or race translating our stuff. Can't do that in Ifa unless I teach it to you. It's an oral tradition. They had no idea what they were looking at until somebody told them. And that's the advantage of the oral tradition. That's the advantage of not having a book. That's why I wanted to do this presentation, because there's no volume of sacred law you can go to and just read everything about Ifa.
Would that be a way of protecting the culture?
I would definitely say so.
Interesting. Okay, another question somebody says, how do you feel about the book called The Handbook of Yoruba Religious Concepts by Baba Ifa Karade?
I've heard of Baba Karade, and I do know of that book. I haven't read all of it. It's definitely a book that you can use as a resource, but I haven't read all of the book, so I'm not going to give a opinion either way. I've only read like 3 or 4 chapters.
Okay, that's fine. Because I think what they're saying is that they're trying to get some good indigenous sources for the Ifa system. You know, I think they're concerned of reading on it first to get acclimated with it before they go and speak to, you know, somebody who's a
well, surprisingly, they have a lot of information on Wikipedia on Ifa. Somebody's been writing a lot about Ifa on Wikipedia, and the sources, I checked out the sources and the references, and they're good sources. Like, you can actually go to Wikipedia, type in Ifa Yoruba religion, and bring up a lot of things, and it definitely will give you a basis before you you know, go talk to a Babalawo, things like that. Just remember, you're not going to know everything about Ifa, even after if you become a priest. If you want to become a Babalawo, you're still not going to know everything. My Babalawo once said this to me: if you put all the information that Ifa has in a book, it would be 4 times the size of the Bible. Wow. Just keep that in mind and don't get frustrated.
All right. So the next question would be, is there a way to summon the spirits of Ifa, Afuru, all the other spiritual systems? Can you do the same thing in ancient Kemet? If the Orishas is synonymous, let's say, for example, the Ifa system with the Necharu, is there a way that you can summon the Necharu, like you can also summon the Orishas? Like, you know, can you get a reading, like, you know, Kemetic reading, you know, to see who?
There are Kemetic societies, you know, there are Osarian societies that perform these type of things. But if you ever get the benefit of going to Kemet and you look in these holies of holy rooms, there's always an altar. There's always a place for holy offerings. Actually, Hotep, one of the meanings of Hotep is an offering. So these same type of practices were in Kemet, to where you could invoke these spirits. There's a structure, I don't want to say structure, kind of statue, where there's the suit in the middle, Heru on this side, Set on this side. And this is invoking the spirit of balance. So sometimes in our ancient prayers, we say, I need Set on this side, I need Heru on my other side, because you need a little Set. You need that warrior class, but you need that Heru, that goodness. So that's that balance. So yes, you can invoke these divine principles in nature. You know, you can put them in your prayers, and you know, you can definitely do that. These are, you know, your ancestors venerated these divine spirits, these divine forces in nature, and if you want to put them in your prayers, there's nothing that says that you can't.
Awesome. All right. Somebody else is asking: is it true that ancient religion Ifa is a coded message of Alu Dumer, the creator, revealed to people by a prophet or Rumila?
I wouldn't call it a prophet. Let's define some terms. Oludumare is the all in all, encompassing everything, who manifested himself in 3 ways: in himself, Olorun, and Olofi. Orunmila is a divine spirit too. So Orunmila is the spirit of divine knowledge. That is the spirit in which they invoke, the Babalaos invoke, to receive the messages, so he can tell you about your problems, or your head Orisha, or whatever it may be, or make you a priest himself. So Orunmila is not a prophet. He's a divine spirit. He goes to Oludumare directly, just like Tahuti went to Ra directly to get those extra 5 days for Geb and Newt to procreate. He goes straight there and be like, hey, you know, what you got? Oludumare says this, that, and the third. He's like, okay. And then Orunmila can either pass that message to the Babalawo directly, or it can come in the form of Ishu, which is the messenger. And Ishu is a trickster, so you never know what form Ishu is going to come in.
All right, that's that. Okay. Somebody says, do you think that our situation will be better in the USA if most of our people return to the traditional African spirituality, more so than anything else? So we talking about,
y'all gonna get me in trouble.
They ask these questions, yo. Hey.
In my humble opinion,
Okay.
in my scholarly opinion, absolutely, because the majority of us were snatched from West Africa. The majority of us were, our ancestors brought here on these ships, and they were snatched from West Africa. So if we were to go back to a spiritual system that, you know, was indigenous to us, I can't see how that would hurt. I've never been a proponent of African people being Christians. I've never been a proponent of African people being Muslims or Jews or anything outside of the African cosmology. I've never been a proponent of that. I've always been a proponent of going straight to the source of where you are from. Now, whether that is West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, South Africa, wherever your ancestry points, and that's why DNA tests and science are so important. But wherever your ancestry points, go there. If your ancestry points to Eritrea, go to Eritrea. Go see the spiritual system for yourself. I had a conversation with this guy. He just happened to be a Christian. And I said, you know, aren't you curious about what happened before Christianity was forced on your people? He said, no. I said, you don't even want to go and look? Like, I'm not even saying incorporate it. I would like for you to. But if you go and say, this is not for me, okay, at least you did your research. But at least go and look and see how the people interact. And, you know, learn something about the culture, and it might benefit you and give you a sense of cultural pride in a way that you've never felt before. So I definitely think going back to our indigenous ways would help us as a people and give us more pride. And if we went back to some of our ancient ways that operated inside of our culture anyway, that's combating white supremacy, whether you know it or not, because white supremacy doesn't work without us. It doesn't work without our compliance. We comply within their culture. So when you're operating inside our culture, now they can't, you know, they can't break through that barrier. So some of the lies that they tell us, some of the standards of beauty they force on our women, some of the things they do to our brothers and sisters on the job, they wouldn't be able to do because we're operating inside of our culture.
All right, excellent. Somebody says, is it true that all Yoruba tribes, as well as inhabitants of Benin and Dahomey, trace their origin from the Ila Ife?
Kind of like the slide from Lao, from Loa. A lot of tribes think that. A lot of tribes that they, and when they say Ila Ife, they talk about the city and not particularly the spiritual system. They believe that this city is holy. So Vudon, Loa, Dahodame, Iwi, Fan, all of these spiritual systems talk about this holy place, Ila Ife, in Yoruba, what's commonly referred to as Yoruba land today. In fact, when you go, you can go and get your divination and become a priest of your Orisha in Yoruba land. A great publication, PBS did a publication on the Yoruba system. They had two sisters that repatriated to get their priesthood of Oshun. It was during the Oshun festival. So it's a great publication. Just type in PBS and Yoruba Ifa in Google, and it's free. They still got it up there, and just watch it. It's only about an hour. It's great. It's a great publication. So you can see what I mean about this city being holy, and that all these spiritual systems sprouting from there.
All right, let me give you a few more questions, and then I'll put you in the hot seat for my question.
Oh boy, let's go.
So somebody said, how would you answer someone if they said everything that you just presented was spooky? So if you were talking to an atheist, a black atheist, you're not talking about
you sure?
The person asked that question. What would you say to a person who has African descent, who's black, and let's say is secular and is an atheist, and you was to explain them, you know, about what you just shared with them, you know, hey, you know, this is from your West African ancestry, etc. They said, no, man, that stuff is fake. It's not real. You know, you're talking about myths and spookism. How would you respond to that? That's a serious question today.
I am talking about this. That's the whole point. Let me explain something. These divine spirits, these forces in nature, the same way we treat the Netcherus, the Orishas, the Pangus, the Fangus, the Salty Goose, these are divine forces in nature. These are part of the African cosmology stories that they told in their oral traditions and passed them down to their young generation. Now, say that I want to talk about subatomic energy. And I'm trying to explain this to my boy. Hey, son, there's a force in nature. You can't see it, but it's energy, and it's everywhere, and it does these things. You're like, what are you talking about, Daddy? Where? Is it around me now? Well, maybe. And you're going to fail at the story. But if I call that subatomic energy almond, oh, he's like, look, Daddy, almonds all around me. You got it, son. You see how easy that is? So our ancestors observed nature in its natural habitat. And they gave these divine forces and spirit names. Are these real people? No. Could they been modeled after real people? Possibly. But this is a way that our ancestors were scientists. See, in Africa, science and spirituality are the same. Science and spirituality are the same. So the spiritual side is our science, and it explains science in a spiritual way. So when people say it's spooky, I would say, well, you don't understand science, because I could prove every one of those. What did I say that doesn't exist in nature? I talked about the deity of primordial waters. I talked about deities in relation to fire. I talked about deities in relation to earth. I talked about a serpent. Aren't these real things? They're just told in a story form. So there's nothing spooky about it.
And I think they're saying, what about the divination part?
The divination part, when you become, a priest of a certain deity, the divination part is basically based on belief, like all spiritual systems are. Now, you're going to be a priest. That means your spirit is going to be bonded with the divine spirit of this Orisha. So, for example, my divine Orisha is Ogun. He is the deity of technology, iron, and war. These three things do exist. So, when our spirits come together, according to the tradition, war, technology, and iron. Okay. So now I can study war, technology, and iron because I know from my reading that my attitude, the way I carry myself, is most like Ogun. So that doesn't mean I'm going to be naturally good at iron and war. And no, I can go study these things because my personality fits these things, so I may be good at them. It's all about how much you work, man. It's not some spooky, put this spirit in you, and then you're going to be some Superman walking around. Oh, I'm Shango. I'm this, I'm unbeatable. No, it don't work like that. It's just telling you more about yourself. So you can go study these things and then, oh, boom, I understand this. Oh, boom, I can incorporate this in my life. It's all about how much work you put in, man. It's not a mystical, you're going to be 10 feet tall thing, but people misinterpret it as that. And I understand, but that's why I do presentations like this.
So sister's asking, so would you say that the West Indian religion, being that of African descent, stems from Christianity or vice versa? I think she's referring to what you said about the Catholic using Catholicism to hide. Yeah, so she wants to know which stems from what. I think that's what she's asking.
Okay. West Indian religion, first of all, let's put out the Native American religion very close mimics certain African cultures. Now, I'm not saying they're African people, but at one time, remember that these two groups interacted with each other. So they may have rubbed off and seen some things and be like, yeah, I want to put that in my spiritual system and vice versa. So we're saying that, they had an interaction. And the Christianity part, there's always that element when you talk about hostile takeovers, because you can't convince me that these people just naturally wanted to include foreigners, saints. They didn't even know who's Michael in traditional African culture. They didn't know these people. So we know that the Indians were, Christopher Columbus and what he did to the Native Americans. So they definitely could have had that element in their history. I haven't actually looked for that element. But if they have patron saints attached to their divine spirits as well, because I know Native Americans believe in spirits like the wind and the rain, and they give them names just like we give our divine spirits names. But if they have patron saints attached to them, it could have been the same thing. They wanted to practice their indigenous spirit, and here comes this guy saying, we finna wipe y'all out. Like, wait a minute, we have this guy in our spirit. We have this guy. We have Michael and Archangel and Gabriel, They're like, well, you know, we have that too. Okay, you can practice your stuff. Just make sure you include those patron saints and we'll be okay. But, okay, cool. He fell for it. We can still practice our stuff.
That's good. Another person said, so is an altar like a laboratory then, since spirituality and science is one and the same?
It's an altar like a laboratory. You can say it's a spiritual laboratory.
I mean, that's what they asked.
Yeah, I mean, your altar, typically, depending on what your orisha is, you have different things according to yourself. You have pictures of your ancestors on your altar. Always water, the bringer of life. You always put a cup of water on your altar, symbolizing your ancestors drinking. You know, you can put, you know, symbols. Like I on my altar, I have a small pyramid. I have an Ankh. I have an Akupa doll from Akan, Ghana. If you don't know what a Akupa doll is, it's the doll that sort of looks like an Ankh. There's a face and breast, and it's a fertility symbol. I have that. I have a traditional doll from Nubia on one of my altars as well. And then I have Iroke Ifa tool, which symbolizes Elekba, the opener of the way. And in the middle of my Ankh, I have a picture of my father holding me. Now, it's important, don't put people on your altar that are already, well, that are still alive, except for yourself. That's very important. So, yes, it's kind of like a spiritual laboratory because, like I said, science and spirituality are the same. So, it's kind of like a spiritual laboratory.
Never heard nobody phrase it that way before. That was very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm probably going to start saying that. My spiritual laboratory. You say it is an altar.
That's interesting.
It's kind of dope. Whoever said that. Salute to you.
All right. So another question. Somebody's, and I don't know if they're being serious or funny, or just, I don't know, but I'm going to ask you anyway because the people want to know. Where were these divine spirits during the transatlantic slave trade or European colonialism? Why didn't they save us during that time?
I said they were natural forces, divine spirits of natural forces. So if you want, what do you want? Fire to rain down from the heavens, and that's not how African cosmology works. And to be honest with you, they were with them on the ship, and the belief in these divine spirits kept many of our people alive. And we're talking about people that believed in Fan and Iwi and Ifa. It kept many of them alive. So belief is a powerful thing, right? Because your mind is a powerful tool. So believing in these spirits kept them alive. And even after the transatlantic slave trade, when we landed in America, it saved us again because these oral traditions, the drumming of drums, were to send certain messages to other tribes across the way that they were about to revolt, that they were about to cut master's head off. They brought these tribes together because I told you all these spiritual systems were similar. So this is how many of us survived.
Very interesting. Now, if they wanted to get a reading, like anywhere in the U.S., you know, somebody's asking for Washington State, somebody's asking for New York. Is there like some place they can go to and find out?
Central location?
Yeah. No, not central location.
No, I mean like a database or something.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Man. Not that I know of, but I can ask my Babalao for different Babalaos in your specific area. If you hit me up on that contact information, I will ask for you. I will do that for anybody that hits me up. You know, it's the least I can do.
Yeah, so make sure you send him a friend request. I don't know if he's gonna have enough room for.
If I don't, just send me a message, man.
Yeah, join his group. Say, what's your group again?
Yeah, Young Conscious Minds, African Diaspora.
Join his group, and you can post questions. They can post questions.
Yeah,
you can do some research, find it out for y'all.
Do some research.
All right, because they going crazy with these questions, but I'm gonna stop here. This is so much.
Man, KT had no questions, yo. It's all your fault, KT.
He asked the question.
How you doing? What?
Yeah, he asked the question, but he pulled back. There were so many other people here. He wanted you to do something. I'm gonna let you end off with that, but I'm gonna mention this one last comment somebody made. He said, "So you're saying that our indigenous culture is our collective immune system? It's the key to defeating the hypnotic Stockholm syndrome of white supremacy. So he's saying like the indigenous culture that you just explained, our West African spirituality culture, is this sort of like our collective immune system? You know, if we tap into it, can it be a key to defeating the hypnotic Stockholm syndrome of white supremacy? I think
immune system is a little far, because you got to think our culture is one element to combat white supremacy. But as forms of what you said about Stockholm syndrome, absolutely. Absolutely. Once you start practicing in your indigenous culture, you're not going to be this Stockholm, you know, I love my oppressor thing, because you're going to realize that your traditions shaped their traditions. So you're going to want to be with your traditions and not away from the lies that they tell you. But it's just one aspect, because we still need cooperative economics, because we're in this hells of this paradigm where money needs to be obtained to do certain things. So we need cooperative economics, we need unity, we need to reestablish some things within our community, and we have to get to work. So can't be just the spiritual. It has to be other elements in regards to economics and unity as well, in order for us to truly unite as a people. And I'm not saying everybody has to go back to a Western African spiritual system, but if you're for Black people right now, I can work with you. If you're for Black people right now, I would prefer that you go back to your indigenous spiritual system. But as Marcus Garvey said, you know, we're people of petty differences. I really don't care what you are. If you're for Africa, if you're for Black people, if you want to help, if you're tired of the way things are going, I can work with you.
KT says he didn't want to take away from the people. Brother, you shining, just get it in. So he didn't want to.
That shouts out to my Sunu, man. That's KT the arts degree, man. You know, bodied his presentation. Yeah, Outlaw RPG.
He wanted you to grab your hat again, because the light wasn't helping, but he wanted you to break down the elements that's on the hat.
Okay, can you see it?
Hold on, let me see. Come closer. Bring that light up. The light on the floor. Just bring it up next to it. No, lift it up. Hold it. You can hold it. Can you hold it and show it? Turn this way.
No. Okay, yeah. Okay. You see it?
Yes. I don't know why it's not showing that one. Let me see. Hold the light. Let's see. All right. Can you see? Okay, they can see it like this.
All right, check this out. This is an alligator back over here. Look, I know this lifts my heart. This is an alligator back here. And this is an owl. These two symbols together mean Kim, which means black. So when people say, oh, we're not black, when it's a black as a color, blah, blah, it's right here. Thousands of years. Kim. Now, this is a loaf of bread, which is a T. So that's how you get K-M-T. Kemet. Now, this symbol here is what we call a determinative in Meta Nature, which basically means it tells you about the symbol here without basically reading the letters. So if you knew what this symbol was, you would know what they were, a little bit of what they were trying to tell you. So this symbol can mean community, civilization, or village. So talking about Kemet, the civilization. Now, people are saying this means black land or a black community. My scholarly opinion, I want to ask everyone a question. A people that existed thousands of years ago, why would they have the need to call themselves black? Black people are the only people they saw. It's my scholarly opinion now, and they're the only people they saw for thousands of years. So it's kind of like, you know, living in Europe and calling yourself, you know, the white community or whatever. They're like, oh, that's basically all we see. So this basically this is a metaphor for fertile land, and this is the fertile land here, because black was related with fertile at times. So this is the fertile land. The opposite of this Sesh Meta Nature, Sesh meaning to inscribe, Meta Nature meaning divine words. The opposite of this is the shore. The shore is categorized with red. Red is categorized with desert. Fertile and desert. Now, I can do the other. Can they see these?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an Ankh, a Djedi pillar, and a Wa scepter with the bowl. The bowl is usually depicts as Lord or possessor of, master. And of course, means life. The Njie pillar, this is a SARS backbone. So it means stability. What does a backbone do? It upholds you. So stability. This is a Wa scepter, meaning power. So the bowl is encompassing all three of these ideograms. So it's basically the possessor, master, or lord of life, stability, power.
So with this in the middle, represent Neb?
This bowl?
Lord? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Neb.
Okay. Is that another sign?
Yeah, this is just Tahuti.
Where?
It's in Evesburg.
Oh, okay. Point to it. Let them see it.
Yeah. Notice the beak, the utensil. See, we observe nature, so we notice that the Ebis bird had this beak. So it's good for writing. It's like a pen, and you'll see him like in the papyrus of a Nile writing on that tablet of stone, like an Ebis bird. So the Ebis bird represents it.
All right. So
That's why I love Nubia 25, Nubia25dynasty.com, because it's accurate.
All right, so you put that down. So if somebody asks one last question, I'll let them get this last one in. But we done family after this because I gotta ask my question. So the last question somebody asks is, would you consider the Judeo-Christian Islamic spiritual systems African, since they all had a root source from Africa? Would you consider them African? Would you consider them not African? I guess this person, I don't know what they are, but they're asking this question. They just wanted to know, can it also be an indigenous system that was maybe infiltrated, or, if it came from African spirituality, because there's some people that ask that question, it came from.
Right. So it's okay because it came from it.
So they're asking it. So is it an African spiritual, spiritual system?
No. And this is why. And when we talk about religion, there's two definitions: Old French, Old English. To bind, to tie down. What are they binding and what are they tying down? They are bind and tying down to volumes of sacred law. Cannot operate outside of this volume of sacred law. Period. Now show me, I already showed you that these spiritual systems have oral traditions. They don't have a volume of sacred law. But show me a book in Kemet where they were bound and tied down to. Don't say the Purim Heru, because they were not bound or tied down to that book. And there were many other books, like the Book of Ra, Book of Evolution, the Book of Life. There were many books in Kemet, but none of the Nasut Bitsis or kings were tied down and bound to these books. That is why Africa does not have a religion, and that is why Africa has spiritual systems versus religion. Spirituality is something that our oppressors did not understand and tried to mimic, and they created religion. So Islamic, Judeo-Christian, all of that, these are religions. Therefore, they are not African. Not to mention, these are the religions that were forced upon us during the transatlantic, one of them before the transatlantic slave trade, the Islamic slave trade with Islam, in which 1,000 years went by under this Islam. Then comes the Christians. So no, I definitely can't say that these these religions are indigenous to Africa when they were forced upon us. We had no idea of these systems. And people love to throw Ethiopia in there and say that Ethiopia was Christian and they've been Christian for a long time. Well, King Nzana was converted to Christianity by his friend, which was a Syrian. And after his friend converted him, he went to war in Meroe against the people of Nubia. And if you don't believe me, read the Ethiopian Book of the Dead, believed by Musa Ashby. Read that book, and you will get the source. That's the source in which you will get more evidence in that book. So no, I can't say that those religions are indigenous to Africa or spiritual systems.
All right, excellent. So round of applause.
Salute.
This is the second Black News 404 Studios video. We got a powerful presentation by my brother. Tell the people your name again. Let them know.
Man, I'm Blak Pantha.
A man of many names, man. I don't even know what to call him.
Everybody calls me something different. Y'all call me Blak Pantha, man. And, don't get it confused with the new Black Panther Party or old Black Panther Party or revolutionary Black Panther Party. My name comes from the actual comic book character Black Panther from Wakanda. And if you study that character, you'll to see a lot of similarities to African culture and what we can do to practice our culture inside to keep invaders out. Only civilization in the comics to never be conquered by European imperialism. That's why I was given that nickname, Blak Pantha of Gambia.
Yeah, yo, you also talked on, not talked, but you posted up about the new Marvel movie that's coming out with Blak Panther.
Yes, I'm very excited that they made a movie about me, but they didn't call me to play it. So
how do you feel about that? Now that they really, you know, gearing towards African. That's all about African culture, spirituality, and resistance against, you know, white supremacy.
The only problem I have about it is, you know, white folks gonna be making most of the money. But they do have a brother that they brought in not only to play Black Panther, but there's a brother, his name is Njie. He's actually going to be writing on the Black Panther story. So if you're not familiar with Marvel Comics, Black Panther is very essential to the Civil War that's coming. And he basically is the ingredient that saves mankind. So you're going to see Black Panther in the Winter Soldier movie that's coming out with Captain America. That's going to be your first look. But study this black superhero right here. And if you have kids, introduce them to Black Panther. This is a black superhero that they did indigenous African research on. Is pretty evident because he actually wears a Zulu necklace around his neck that is indigenous to the Zulu tribe. Shouts out to my boy Ron Green and What's Up African, who wears the same necklace. But they did big research. I mean, from the symbols to the way the civilization is ran. They even got Africans to play them. I mean, there's a cartoon you can get on iTunes, the Black Panther cartoon, and what's this guy's name from Amistad? But the lead character of Amistad, yeah, give that guy. He plays Black Panther in this cartoon. Jill Scott is in it, and you know, it's a great African publication. Actually, Irritated G's daughter loves that cartoon. Shouts out to Irritated G, my big brother. Go get that. You can actually catch some of it on YouTube for free. So watch that cartoon and you'll get a more indigenous feel of why they created that character and why that is my name today.
All right, because you know KT loves some Black Panther.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Black Panther movement, baby.
The people said that you did a great job. They definitely want to go back over and see everything they missed. They want to stop it, pause it, write it down, research it. Appreciate it. So they really are. He said, Jimon Hansu. I think that's the guy.
That's his name.
Yeah,
Jimon Hansu.
That's his name. But you did an excellent job, my brother. We appreciate it. Now there's the part that you guys gotta wait to see. I'm gonna put them in the hot seat, ask them some questions, some interesting questions. And that video we posted up, maybe another hour or two, you know, whenever Ben leaves. You know, Ben likes to talk a lot. But
since the guy that was in the hotel with me, Samet, Amarazwa, and Seti, till 6 in the morning.
He was up there. But after he leaves, I'm gonna go ahead and edit the video. I'm gonna put it up there for you so you can see how he fares in the hot seat. I had to put KT in the hot seat. Did pretty good. I didn't really put too much pressure on KT, but you know, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit on my brother.
I always get it, man. I always get it.
All right, fam. So we thank y'all for watching. This is another Black News 44 Studios production. We want to say shout out to Sign Out of TV. We want to say shout out to any RBG family out there, the Rich Life family out there, the
donate to the Yoruba Academy.
All of that. You know
yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
We want to say thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll tune into the next session, which is coming soon. He's going to show you the Amin Ra. Oh, you just pulled out. I didn't even see that. Yeah, his Amin Ra shirt.
Arrows up.
You have a t-shirt underneath?
I do.
Okay, show him the tattoo.
Oh, okay.
I don't want no men stripping in my house, so that's why he has some freaking yeah, so they want to see that. Hold on. Let me make sure they can see that. Yeah, you want to see how authentic you are. So
okay.
All right. So
I have many African symbols on my chest, but let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, that VEVE right there, that is Ogun. The star to my right, that's that Yanir star that I showed you. The symbol right here is the Pangul symbol. And of course, these are two Akan symbols. This meaning reverence of the divine. This meaning war of vigilance. And the Ankh in the middle.
All right. Right, you put your shirt back on.
Yeah, man.
Nah, but so because people wanted to see if you really did have the tattoos.
I did have the tattoos. City of Ink, my boy Melvin, man. Go down there and see him.
So I don't want to hear y'all saying he ain't authentic, he ain't no, nah, he's the real deal. Stop hating on my brother. You feel me? So thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of Blak News 404 Studios. If y'all ain't subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now, because you're not going to get nothing exclusive like this anywhere else. We're very objective, professional. You can't say that Divine Prospect is biased in any way. You feel what I'm saying? You know, if people got information out here in Atlanta, we're going to allow them to rock. You feel what I'm saying? So I think my brother Benjamin Njie, you're going to hear more of this soldier, man. They want to know, you going to be there on in December in New York?
I'm supposed to be. Let's see how that work out.
All right.
I'm supposed to be.
All right, that's good. So you'll be able to see them, to my New York family out there. To those in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? You might see them around. If you do, give them a nice little salute. You feel what I'm saying? And we thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for future episodes. Make sure you're subscribed. And we want to say with that, peace and Black Power, family.
Team Osiris.